Hey guys, welcome back to Senate Topical. I'm Nate here all by myself. Happy 2019. 2018 is over and we got a lot of really good movies. So today I'm going to be talking about my top 10 favorite movies of 2018. If there's not a movie, If there's a movie you thought should have been on my list and wasn't on my list, just know I don't get paid to do this, so I don't get to see every single movie that comes out in theaters. So it's obviously just based on stuff that I actually saw, and there's a lot of good stuff that I haven't had a chance to check out yet. But based on what I have seen this year, here are my top 10 favorite movies of 2018. So number 10 is going to be A Star is Born. Really, really good movie. I know a lot of people probably have it way higher on their list. I think that's fair and understandable. It wasn't bad at all. It was a really, really, really good movie. Bradley Cooper did a great job. Lady Gaga did a really good job. I always have respect for directors that are in their own movies and can do a really good job acting and directing. I think that takes a lot of skill and a lot of talent. Movie just didn't quite hit me as hard as it hit a lot of other people, but still very, very solid. Number 9 for me, I'm a huge sci-fi fan, love sci-fi movies. The best one of this year was easily Annihilation.
Clearly, no debate.
From the same guy that gave us the really, really creepy movie that I can't remember.
Ex Machina says Alice Garland.
Thank you. I knew his name. I was getting there.
Oh.
Appreciate it. Yeah, Alex Garland gave us Annihilation. Really, really good movie. Beautiful visuals. Really, really great concept. Gives you a lot to think about afterwards. Kind of a weird ending, but I really, really enjoyed it and rolled with it. Number 8 for me is a genre that I don't dabble in too much because I'm a scared little bitch. Facts. And it's going to be horror. And number 8 is Hereditary. This movie was absolutely terrifying, but also a really, really, really good movie. Very well directed, very well acted. Did a really, really good job of throwing a solid family dynamic in there as well. So there's a lot more meat to the movie than your average horror movie. It was basically a really, really good movie that just happened to be a horror movie at the same time. Number 7 for me is from, personally, who I think is the best director of all time, Mr. Steven Spielberg, and it's going to be Ready Player One. I know a lot of people, this movie, I don't know if I call it divisive. Some people loved it, some people hated it. I have no problem with movies using nostalgia to pick at my heartstrings a little bit, and this movie definitely did. There are so many video game and anime references from things that I loved as a child and now in this movie. I really, really enjoyed the plot. I thought the CGI was some of the best CGI I've seen in a long time. I don't normally love movies that rely on CGI a whole lot, but this one was done really, really well. Solid job from Mr. Spielberg. Number 6 is going to be one of the best coming-of-age movies I've seen in a hot minute. It's going to be 8th Grade, Bo Burnham's directorial debut. We got introduced to Elsie Fisher, who liked our Instagram post for this movie, by the way. I'm going to brag about that until the day I die. Really, really also just kind of dug into that nostalgic time. I felt like I was really, really awkward in middle school too. Did not feel like I had a lot of friends. So this story about coming into your own, figuring out who you are, not having to rely on other people's opinions of you to find other people that you really mesh with. Really, really important story there. Number 5 is going to be a movie that was extraordinarily divisive from the best franchise in the history of franchises.
It's debatable.
It's going to be Solo, a Star Wars story. I freaking loved this movie. I thought the sense of adventure of it was just like top notch the entire time. Really, really a roller coaster of a movie. Alden Ehrenreich felt like Han Solo to me. I know a lot of people disagree with that, but when I really think about who we got by the time we knew him, this just seems like this is who that guy could have been before he turned into the more hardened space outlaw that we got to know and love. I love Solo. I thought it was great. Number 4 for me is going to be Creed 2. I really, really love fighting movies. Dylan is going to be thrilled that there's a Rocky movie above a Star Wars movie on my list, and I'm okay with that because Creed is still the best Rocky movie of all time. Creed 2 is really, really good. Not as good as the first one, but
I like it a lot.
The only superhero movie on my list, which is going to be Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. This movie was freaking great. I have seen a few people have this on their number 1 best movie of the year. I don't disagree with him at all. Maybe not me, like mine personally, but I love that. This movie is such a good Spider-Man story, for sure. They took a lot of risks. They killed Peter Parker. Like, they actually killed Peter Parker. Like, he did not come back in that universe, at least. So that was just a really, really gutsy call. But even more so, this is really a coming of age story on its own. So Miles Morales' character and his arc and the way things evolved for him was just really, really beautifully done. I thought the animation was beautiful. I think a lot of movies have tried to bring comic book to life in animation, and this one just really, really nailed it. It was a great job. Number 2 for me is going to be another directorial debut. It's going to be mid-90s. I love this movie from Jonah Hill. It was so, so good. I was, just like pretty much every kid from the 90s, had a phase where I was obsessed with skater culture and stuff like that. So getting to see what that meant to those kids, how they all come from these different backgrounds and things like that, and how skating was their escape from way different problems. Really, really good. Really, really cool to see little homie kind of come into his own and his friends come to his side when they get in that accident. And also, like, the dangers of making shitty decisions. So make good decisions. And finally, my number 1 favorite movie that I saw out of everything that came out in 2018 is going to be Green Book with Viggo Mortensen and Mahershala Ali. What a really, really great movie. I watched that movie, and I watched a lot of movies that were supposed to be feel-good movies in 2018 and just didn't come away from them. I didn't feel bad, but I didn't have that really gut, like, I love life now because of this movie. This movie gave it to me. It gave it to me in a way that a lot of movies haven't in a long time. Really, really, really loved it. Really loved the way these characters interact with each other. Obviously loved the message of them going through the Deep South in the 60s. The fact that Viggo Mortensen's character is also not necessarily what you consider an upstanding member of society, and still manages to form this really, really good bond with Mahershala Ali's character while realizing that even though he isn't necessarily the richest or like have the best job in the person, is still afforded certain advantages by society because of the color of his skin, that this guy who is rich because of how good he is at playing piano still doesn't love getting to see him stand up for him. And especially that ending where his family even sort of embraced him in the end was really, really great. So those are my top 10 favorite movies of 2018. If there's anything you feel like should have been on my list that got left out, make sure you let us know down in the comments section. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel. We'll see y'all next time.